Welcome back. We are having a very important discussion on the International Day Against Drug Abuse and Illicit Trafficking. I can't believe where our time has gone, but we'll try and get a few more thoughts from our guests. This is a topic that we'll need to keep revisiting, even as we look at where Kenya is. Those worrying statistics from NACADA. And we have Joseph Kajani, a recovered drug addict, and he's got a few thoughts, and he wants to address some of the questions that some of you viewers asked. Go ahead, Joseph.
Thank you. First of all, I wanted to say that I agree with Joyce that students know that taking these things is bad, and people are given, they have been bombarded, as you said, with information about it. For me, I think we need a holistic approach, okay? Because you can't empower a student while the mom is smoking or the dad is taking bang. So what we need to empower the parents with this information, have them empowered about drugs and alcohol and the dangers, then empower the teachers who are the caregivers, okay? So that at least all stakeholders are addressed. Because if you address the student and they go home and they say, the dad is telling me not to drink and he's smoking, what kind of message are we? So we need a holistic approach on that. And quickly, we need also to empower our officers, because maybe, yes, they are used to enforcement, but do they have the skills? If I'm arrested 3 times because of alcohol, these officers should be able to even counsel me. In the prison, we should have counselors who are able to counsel these people in the prisons who are there as a result of addiction issues. The other point, the question that was raised about a disease, is it a disease and the relapse, like combining them. It doesn't matter how people have so many names. Some will call it's a disease, some will call it disease and that. The issue is it's a problem, and it's affecting everybody. For me, on my view, the way I view addiction, it's an issue of the heart. And you see, if you don't address the heart, then you have not addressed the person themselves. And that's why people relapse, because they treated the symptoms. Because addiction is a symptom of the things that are going inside inside the heart. So if you address the heart, you are able to win the person. For me, it was as a result of addressing the issues of the heart. You know, people don't drink only because of environment. People drink because of bitterness, rejection, unforgiveness.
We haven't even talked about mental health.
Yes, those are the issues that people go through, and those are the things that make people, a good number of people, to go, even young people. Those are the things that make young people to go into those things, okay? So, so for me, it is an issue of the heart. Addiction is an issue of the heart. So address the issue of the heart, and you'll address the person. You will save the person. My other point is about peer pressure, Joyce. Peer pressure works when you are undecided. And I will tell that even to the young people out there. When you are undecided, that's when peer pressure works easily for you. When you know what your values are, then it's not, you don't have to struggle to say no to a cigarette. Because you already know what your values are. When you know where you stand, what you stand for, you don't have to struggle to say no to going for funky, that they'll be distributing alcohol, because you know what your values are. So peer pressure works when you are undecided. So when you know what your values are, trust me, young person, you'll be able to stand your values. And as I finish, I wanted to say how I changed, because for me it was an encounter with Christ himself. Because for me, I went to Teen Challenge Kenya. It's a Christian rehabilitation program. They have 3 centers, 2 for men and 1 for women. And their approach is purely discipleship. They deal with the heart. They deal with the issues of the heart. It's about what is going inside the heart of a person.
And that is what provided a solution for you.
For 11 years now, walking in Christ.
Drug-free.
Drug-free, even smoking. You know, let me tell you this.
Briefly, go ahead.
I did a wedding, a church wedding, 3 years ago. The place where I was raised up, the people who knew me there didn't even give me a name. If you came to the area I was born, if you ask for Joseph, they tell you, who is Joseph? Until you came and say, the Mlevi, the guy who drinks every day. Then they'll tell you, oh, that guy, we'll show you who he is. Actually, they didn't see the need for me to even have a name. I invited them to my wedding. Let me tell you, they didn't come because of rice or the cake. They came to see, is this Mlevi doing a church wedding? And for me, that is God who can only do that.
Powerful.
And I'm grateful.
Okay, Otua, your final thoughts?
Yeah, Wahiga, such thoughts energize us, and as teachers we feel motivated that a journey of transformation can be realistic. But very quickly, the teachers all over the country and even outside of this country, you have a noble duty. Kindly execute. We have been given under our care and cognitive development, the youth to work on. There is this thing, Wahiga, called life skills. Though it is not examinable, but a lot of teachers are not actually teaching it. If you look at the curriculum of the life skills, it has a lot that if you follow that model to actually, because it tackles on the question of assertiveness, coping, there's a big problem with the Kenyan youth, especially, which is triggered and exacerbated by the question of drugs. That when a student is on drugs, the coping levels in psychology is called defensive mechanism. There is a high possibility of projecting the problem, and that's why you saw in the recent past a lot of suicidal cases, people killing each other, love triangles turning bizarre, and all that. Parents of this great country, you have given us children in our schools, but you also have a duty. You cannot just relegate your child to Otoa Sifuna. In the entire, and we spent with the students 3/4 of the year. We are with the students. They only have a quarter. So if we can synergize, let the parent do his or her role, let the teachers do the role. The government and the political class, you have time. To the president, I know you love the youth, your programs are good, continue pushing. Uhuru Kenyatta loves the youth so much. And so he also is in this campaign to make sure that our youth remain sober and they pursue their dreams.
All right. Honorable Mutudha will come to you for your final remarks. And this list of 20, I'm still very curious about it. So what next? Are you going to leave it at that? Are you going to present it afresh? What happens now? Because this is the head of the snake that we're talking about.
I don't have to represent it again. I only need to remind them that they exist and they're not more than 20. They know them. They are not more than 20. Maybe they can build their own list up to 12. Maybe they need an expert to get the last 2. But they know them. There's no need to be told. There's no need for us to be told that Citizen TV is part of the Royal Media Services family. It's obvious. It's obvious. It's common knowledge. I know time is against us, but I would quickly tell you that I have seen and lived to see people break laws with a lot of impunity. Among them, the 300-meter rule, which is now wreaking havoc to children. That is a law that we did in 2010. The other 18 rule, that children should not be exposed to anything as long as they are under 18. The possessing of assets for people who have been arrested. We arrested a building, a big building at Westlands. One of the big people who deal with drugs there. But apparently it was just closed down for only 4 weeks or 5 weeks, and then
it was open again for business.
And that's supposed to be like a youth cultural center by now, because we had proof, and that is a distribution point. We gave out about 5 petrol stations, which are distributor points, and were supposed to be shut down. But nothing happened. Nothing happened. I went and visited that place many, many times. The government reasoning, Matiang'i is reasoning, all his people are reasoning. Just go. You go there, they're exchanging those things, and you see all the writings there. There's one very positive thing done by President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. He did Edu-Afya. Edu-Afya is a system, is an insurance policy that is dealing with even behavioral changes. And is funded, fully funded 100% by the government of Kenya. And the students are treated free. At Jomek, we have treated a number of them free, about 70, 100 of them. But the public is not aware. These people who are distributing drugs are making sure that the head teachers, the principals, don't know. Please be informed. The 16% can go to any of the rehabs, which are accredited to NHIF, and the treatment is free. All you need is that admission number, name is number, or whatever it's called. You don't require anything else. So there is something very positive which has been done. Like you said, President Uhuru loves children. Then you look at the civil servants, they are all treated free in rehabs, which are accredited to NHIF, free. And you know treatment is very expensive. You know the kind of cost. Look at the worst bit of it, which I must really say, is land grabbing. What do you expect kids to do during the holiday? You have grabbed all the playing grounds. They cannot do anything. Sonko should just stop talking too much. Let him now go and give us back all the public land that has been grabbed. I
want to hear briefly what you have to say. There's a viewer who talked about relapse. How do you help someone who goes to a rehabilitation center, but on their way back they go into
after 3 months?
No, relapse is normal, and you can have it many, many times. In fact, we are now dealing with a patient who has had 6 relapses from 6 rehabs. But he's doing well. Yesterday we offered him a job as a driver. He's good.
Yeah.
It's
So
a
relapse is
complicated,
normal.
it's normal. Because you see in Kenya now, the bad news is that we have 234 rehabs. But the average recovery rate is 2% in the rehabs. In US,
2%.
Average is 40%.
Yeah.
In India is that 7.5%. So it's around
So we have
80%.
a long way to go.
Now, but at Jomek Nakuru, I'm maintaining 60% proven. I've done 1,650 people, 1,650 with no names and numbers, and 60% have worked.
Wow.
Relapse is normal. Relapse is normal, but it
Okay.
must be managed professionally. I will not agree with him 100% on that you need to behavioral change. You also need some medical.
Okay.
Medical
Sometimes
intervention.
because you have had what is called the reward center.
Of course,
Yeah.
Okay.
The reward center, you need to work on the receptors, block them
Yeah.
with some of the complicated drugs
Okay.
Okay.
to block the excesses.
Medical is important.
All
because
right.
also
And then the issue of the sniffer dogs, we even
We'll take
ordered
this as your last word.
Yes,
The
sure.
Sniffer dogs?
the sniffer dogs. We even ordered some from Israel when we were in Akada, which were speaking Hebrew so that they are not bribed. Of course, people will not allow them to come in. The people in authority will not allow. Yes.
Okay. There's so much to talk about on this topic, but we really are out of time. Before we wind up, though, we had a clip that we want to play for you as we give our youngest guest here today the last word.
Youngest ever on the show.
Youngest ever?
right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
And so this was her at the launch of the M-Pesa Foundation Academy, and she got a chance to ask the president a question, and this is the question she chose to ask.
As the President of the Republic of Kenya, by 2022, what do you think is going to be something that you're going to say, this is what Uhuru did and we'll never forget?
Wow.
My goodness. I don't know.
Flustered
What
the
did he
president.
say? We never saw the end of that clip. What did he say?
He just gave 2 responses. One was war against corruption and also to live a peaceful and cohesive nation.
And what was going through your mind at that particular point? This is the head of state, and you're flustering the president himself. He poses before he answers you.
It was something, I don't know, I can't even say how it came because I was chosen to give a speech on behalf of the students. And then I was just seated at the dais and all of a sudden the president turned to me and asked, Madam, and I said that I would like to be the Chief Justice of this great republic in 2036.
All right, Madam CJ.
And, and then he just turned and asked Madam CJ, do you have a question for me? And so in the process, I didn't even know.
Had you prepared the question?
I didn't have a question. So when I went to the podium, I first cleared my throat, and in the process, the question came. And I don't know how it happened, but because I've always carried the interest of my fellow Kenyans, so I had to ask a question that is going to relate with everyone.
Okay.
Yes.
Really?
Please wind down. I have no words.
Very well.
Congratulations.
My goodness.
And thank you for
Will
making
you
time
come back
for
on
us.
our show?
Yeah.
I would like,
You'd like to?
yes.
Oh my, okay.
Yeah, we'll bring her in. You'll be one of our co-hosts.
And good luck in the exam.
We'll just bring
That
you
was
in
a
and talk
legacy.
about
Yeah.
it.
I'm
Yeah.
speechless.
You can say, Wahiga, what the teacher can do if he or she is given an opportunity.
Yes.
And it is such people that
Yeah.
can actually transform this country.
It is true.
Okay.
We just have to do things right.
Yeah.
All right.
And we change the narrative.
All right.
People will not be surprised that the political class
Yeah.
is running this country now.
And I hope one of the shows you bring.
Now we're starting a
Yeah,
whole
we'll
new
bring-
discussion. Yeah.
I hope one of the shows when you're talking about drugs and alcohol, we bring a parent
Yeah.
who has a child who is affected, because it's
Okay.
good also to hear
Yeah.
from the mouth of a parent.
Okay,
right.
our time is up. Really,
Yeah, we
4
have to read
tweets.
some
Let's
tweets
look
really
at
quick.
them.
Let's see what you're saying. Try to squeeze them in. Raka Raka at Citizen TV Kenya, Trevor Mbija, Dwaiga Moura first. Johnny March says, wow, is Joyce Nyawira a student or a teacher? I feel that I'm being taught here. M-Pesa Foundation Academy, absolute brilliance. She indeed ought to be given a presidential forum to highlight the state of drug abuse. Listening to her gives the way forward.
And congratulations to the teachers who've worked
Yes.
on her, Otoa Sufuna and the others as well.
Absolutely. Let's
Well
see another
done
one.
to you. Twitter, hashtag Daybreak, Lee Makwinyi. As long as we continue churning out graduates but don't give them jobs, the war on drug abuse will be lost. The government must provide jobs to the youthful population as a strategy of fighting drug abuse.
All right, let's see another one here real quick because of time. Let's just run it through. Engineer Lazaro says, to win this war on drugs abuse, we must remove diplomatic immunity among our leaders. Some of them are misusing it to ferry drugs in the country. All right,
Wow.
and
Okay.
Mutude is verifying that statement.
Okay. And Nyaks 54338938. How I wish this discussion would go to the campuses where bang or weed is real. Okay.
right.
And cool. It's cool to engage in that. My goodness. Okay, what a discussion. We'll continue focusing on International Day Against Drug Abuse and illicit trafficking during our 9 o'clock hour. But for now, we
Take a quick break. I think it's Workout Wednesday.
That's right.
Time to work out. And thank you so much to our panelists for making time this morning. This is a discussion that cannot end today, but it was very insightful. Asante Nisan, and thank you for watching. Stay with Daybreak though. We're back in just a bit.